Chapter 21, The First Foster Family, January 1979. I have found a family for you, the man tells us excitedly a week later. They have some small children and an old grandmother. They need someone to help with the children and around the house, and they are willing to take all three of you. That afternoon, I wait with nervous anticipation to meet my new family. I wonder what they are like and what it would feel like to belong to a family again. A new family, a safe home, food to eat, someone to protect me. When finally I see their figures in the distance, I cannot believe my eyes. I squint to make sure it's really them. Opening my eyes again, I grab Drew's hand and whisper quietly to her, "It's them. It's the palm tree boy and his dad, the same people who came to my soldier training camp to collect palm sap." Drew nods and warns me to be quiet. Though appearing calm on the outside, inside I'm spinning faster and faster. How can this be? I think to myself, that in this crowd of people I actually know them. The palm tree boy and his father break into big smiles when they recognize me. They seem actually happy about it. This must be fate, a good omen. Maybe things will be all right after all. I am barely able to contain my happiness. "This is no coincidence," the man exclaims. "I know this little girl." He laughs and musses my hair. My face beams with joy at the touch of his hand. "I am Kim, and she is Jew, and this is Long," Kim introduces us. "You want to come live with us?" the palm boy's father asks. We nod. "All right, let's go home." I look up at him, and he smiles. "Here, give me your bundle," he says, taking it out of my hand. My eyes shine at him, and my heart floats to the clouds. "Father," my mind whispers happily. Drew and Kim thank our neighbors as we leave with our new family. "I have a big family already," the father says. "I have 3 little girls who are 1, 3, and 4, and my oldest, Pof, is 14. My wife needs help looking after the kids. My mother is old and also needs help. You girls will help take care of them, cook, collect wood, and tend the garden, while Kim will go out fishing and hunting with me." His voice is so matter-of-fact now, when it was welcoming and happy a few minutes before. The realization of our work arrangement sends chills down my spine. He is not Pa. I have to stop dreaming about our family and settle for being part of a family of convenience. As we approach the house, the rest of the family comes out to greet us, not with smiles, but with cold stares. "Small, but I guess strong enough to help us out around the house," the mother says to the father. My face flushes with anger, but I contain myself. She motions for us to follow her inside the hut. Their hut is bigger than many we have seen, yet built like all the others. "My family lives on this side, so you 3 sleep in that corner over there." She points to the far corner of the hut. "Drop your things there." One afternoon, after a day in the forest gathering firewood, Drew and I come home to find Kim in the corner of the hut, watching the mother go through our things. I climb the steps and sit by him, holding in my anger. "I cannot believe this," the mother squeals, her fingers picking up Ma's shirt. It was Ma's favorite silk shirt. She wore it many times in Phnom Penh. When the soldiers burned our clothes, Ma was wearing this shirt underneath a plain black shirt and was able to hide it from them. She risked everything just to keep it, and if she knew of her impending fate, Ma gave Kim the backpack with her jewelry sewn into the straps, as well as her favorite shirt, on his last visit to her. "It is so soft," the mother exclaims happily and slips the shirt over her head. It falls smoothly over her body, the blue silk shining beautifully in the sun. Kim's jaw bulges as he grits his teeth, and Drew looks elsewhere. Our anger rises, but we say nothing. Finally, sensing our glares, she takes the shirt off and throws it back in the bag. "I don't like it anyway. It's ugly now that I really look at it. How can anyone wear this color?" she says, and walks away. Kim takes the shirt out and gently folds it neatly before putting it back in the bag. The only bright spot in the family is Pof, the 14-year-old brother, who is very nice to me. He often takes me fishing and swimming with him, and introduces me to people as his new sister. I like him. It's nice to be treated kindly. I know he likes me. He says as much. Yet at times there is something about him that gnaws at me. The odd way I catch him looking at me, his eyes lingering too long over my face and body, makes my stomach queasy. While picking firewood in the forest one day, someone comes up from behind me and grabs my waist. I swing around, ready to attack, but stop when I realize it's Pof. The clouds darken and follow above us. He walks toward me, his hand sliding on my flat chest around to my back, pulling me close to him in a tight grip. He breathes heavily, his wet lips on my cheek. In a surge of anger, I slap him across the face and push him away. "Leave me alone! Get away from me!" I scream into his face. "What's the problem? Am I not nice to you? You like me. I know you do." He smirks and approaches me again. I want to rip his lips off his face. "Get away or I'll tell on you." "All right," he says, his eyes glare at me. "Who will believe you?" It's your fault anyway, always tagging along and going places with me. Spitting at his feet, I turn and run away. Pof is right. I cannot fight him. I cannot tell anyone, not even Kim and Ju. There is nothing I can do but keep away from him. I do not want to cause trouble with our new family. I do not want to live on the streets again. I avoid Pof after that. Wherever he is, I am not. Whichever direction he goes, I go the opposite. And with each passing day, my heart blackens with hatred for him. But I keep it all inside. I keep it well hidden as Pof laughs and goes fishing with Kim. The arrangement with the family works well for me, since I am used to long hours of labor. But no matter how hard we work, they let us know we are never efficient enough. To make matters worse, the mother often wonders out loud in front of us whether we are worth our keep. We know very little about the family and dare not ask them questions. We know that though we all live in the newly liberated zone, after almost 4 years of living with secrets, it's hard to change. We don't know whether they are supporters of the Khmer Rouge if they were base people. Even if the family doesn't love us, they do feed us a sufficient amount of rice, fish that the boy catches in the river, and vegetables from the garden. The family has many 50-pound sackcloth bags of rice hidden in the corner of the hut. I don't know how they got them. Each morning we set off, always the three of us, Ju, our girlfriend Pithy, and I. Pithy is Ju's age, and like Ju, is rather meek and not much of a speaker. Soldiers took her father away too, so now she lives with her mom and older brother. We first met Pithy while gathering water by the stream. We watched her fold her scarf and place it on her head. She was our size, with pretty brown eyes and skin. She still wore the black Khmer Rouge pajama shirt and pants, but her hair was growing out of the blunt Khmer Rouge cut. She struggled to lift her clay water jug on her shoulders. Ju walked over to help her. From then on, she was our friend. Though she lives on the other side of town, she often meets us to gather firewood. I don't mind the task, but I hate having to roam around the woods barefoot. I am wary of snakes. The ground is covered with leaves and branches, so I cannot see what's slithering beneath them. Once I stepped on something that at first looked like a small brown stick, but then the stick wiggled, squirmed, and slid away. The sole of my foot tickled, sending shivers all over my body. At sunrise, Ju and I greet Pithy at our meeting place on the road. The haze is pink today. I rub my eyes, yawn, and adjust the ropes we brought to tie the wood, slinging them over my shoulders. Cradling an axe in her arms, Ju glowers at me for forgetting the canteen. Side by side, we walk into the woods, far away from the displaced people's camp. As I collect fist-sized dry tree branches, Ju bends and shaves the leaves with her axe. As the sun climbs higher in the cloudless sky, we take a break and rest under a tree. But it is February, and the weather is hot and sticky, even in the tree's shade. It cools only at night. I need water. My throat is burning, I complain loudly to the girls. Me too, Pithy echoes in agreement. But we can't leave now. We'll be in trouble if we don't bring enough firewood home. Shh, I interrupt Pithy and listen to leaves rustling nearby. Someone's coming. Looking up, we are startled to see a Yuan soldier walking in our direction. He is thin and tall, maybe 2 feet above us, and dressed in the standard green uniform, but without the rifle and grenades on him. The Yuan raises his canteen to his mouth and drinks from it. Maybe he'll give us some water, I say to the girls. Let's ask him. The girls nod. When he is close, we approach him. He stops and smiles quizzically at us. Water, thirsty, drink. I say the words loud and slow. He narrows his eyes and shakes his head. I point to his canteen, and with my hand, I mime the drinking motion. Finally, he nods and smiles with understanding. He then unscrews the top of his canteen and holds it upside down, but nothing comes out. He points to the canteen, points to me, and motions us to follow him. He wants us to follow him to get water, I declare proudly to the girls. In unison, we step forward. The Yuan turns suddenly around and puts up his palm to stop us. He points to me and waves for me to follow him. Don't worry, I'll bring enough water back for all of us, I say, and follow him into the woods, leaving Ju and Pithy behind. The soldier takes me far away from the direction of the base, where I assume we would go for water. As he leads me farther into the woods, my heart quickens. Looking back, I try to find Ju and Pithy, but I cannot see them in the thick brush. The Yuan points to an area where the shrubs are high and dense, and waves for me to come to him. Standing where I am, a few feet from him, I ask, "Where water?" By now, my palms are sweating with fear. He points to the bushes and motions for me to follow. "No!" I say firmly, refusing. Breathing rapidly, I turn to run, but am stopped by his hands on my arms. He throws me hard on the ground. I fall, scraping my knees and hands on rocks and sticks. Stunned and shaken, I try to get up, but his hands are there again, pushing me down by the shoulders. I land hard on my bottom as pain shoots through my body. My eyes widen in alarm. Nam Soong! Nam Soong! He orders me to lie down in Vietnamese. I cannot understand what he says and stare up at him. In our culture, the bride finds out all there is to know between a man and a woman on the night of her marriage. I do not know exactly what he wants to do, but I know that it is bad. I struggle to get up. Again he shoves me down. Nam Soong! Nam Soong! He screams at me. His white face darkened mean now, like the faces of the Khmer Rouge. I sit there, paralyzed and speechless. I am unable to get the scream out of my throat. My heart pounds. My eyes plead with him to let me go. Time slows as he unbuttons his pants and they drop to his ankles. Breathing short, shallow breaths, I scurry back in terror. His bright red underwear stands in stark contrast against his white skin. They hug him tightly and hang below his pot belly. He hooks his thumb onto the waistband and pulls his underwear down. A scream claws its way from my throat, but it comes out in a whimper. He quickly squats down in front of me, one hand gripping the back of my neck and the other covering my mouth and most of my face. His nails dig into my cheeks. My eyes follow his stomach down to his penis. It is big and quivers like it's alive. My head is dizzy as I begin to hyperventilate. I shut my eyes. I have never seen a man's penis before. Babies, yes, but I never imagined it to be so different on a man. All its wrinkles and pouches, it disgusts and terrifies me. He lowers my head to the ground, and while his hand still covers my mouth, I can see my reflection in his eyes. Shh, shh, he whispers. His body inches away from me. His hand lets go of my mouth and tugs at my pants, pulls them past my hips. A scream crawls its way from my throat and explodes loudly. Shocked, he stops. He quickly looks around. I pull my pants back on and twist my body to get up. His long fingers wrap firmly around my ankles, pulling me closer and closer, one hand now on my thigh. I slide on my bottom, unable to get away. Letting out a loud, shrill cry, I squirm out of his grasp and kick to get away. Help! Monster! Somebody help me! Monster! I yell as tears stream down my face and snot drips from my nose to my mouth. Dark, thunderous, powerful hatred rises in me as I scream and call him names. With a surge of anger, I twist and snap my left leg out of his grip. I hate you! I yell into his bewildered face as his leg crashes into his chest. His face winces in pain. He gasps for breath and lets go of my other leg. Die! Die! Screaming at the top of my lungs, I kick him in the groin with all my hatred. He doubles over and falls to the ground, hollering like an injured animal. My legs push me up and I run as fast as I can without stopping. I flee to where I left Ju and Pithy and see their figures turning toward me, axes over their shoulders, faces full of worry and fear. Long, are you all right? I heard you scream. Ju questions me shrilly. I nod shakily. We were so scared for you. We thought it was strange when he took you to the woods away from the base. We kept our eyes on you. Then you disappeared. Ju is crying now. She drops her axe on the ground. I'm never going to be that stupid again. I want to report him to the authorities, I tell her. No, let's get out of here and go to a place where there are lots of people, Pithy pleads and drags me away by the arm. Reluctantly, I allow myself to be dragged away. Pithy helps Ju wrap the rope 3 times around the pile of wood. Then they sit facing each other with the pile in the middle. Both put their feet on the wood and push, each pulling one end of the rope. When the rope is taut, Ju ties it in a double knot. She lays the axe in the pile of wood and strings her scarf through the rope to make a handle. Once she finishes, she helps Pithy with the other 2 piles. Grabbing the scarves, we pick up the wood, now the size of our bodies, and carry it horizontally on our backs. When we get close to the base, I look closely at all the soldiers, hoping to catch the monster. I want to report him, but I do not know who to report him to. With their funny round hats and uniforms, most of the soldiers look the same to me. I am not sure which one to tell my story to. I thought they were here to save us from the Khmer Rouge and the abuses of Pol Pot, and not to hurt us. Come on, we have to go, Pithy again pleads after a few minutes. Then, from the corner of my eye, far in the distance, I think I see him. My mind swirls with rage of revenge. My heart jumps to my throat, and I take off after him. Monster! I yell. Running, Ju and Pithy call for me to stop and return, but I ignore them. I am so full of hate, I pay no attention to where I'm going. Suddenly, something crunches under my foot, and pain shoots through the soul. I break into a sweat, but do not stop. I focus on him and leap on my toes in his direction. My foot throbs painfully as blood leaves a trail over the ground. Briefly, I look to see a piece of broken glass sticking out of my foot. I look down and yank the glass out, causing more blood to spurt. When I look up again, he is gone. He's gone! I scream when Ju and Pithy catch up with me. The pain is so great now that I have to sit down. Saying nothing, Ju takes her scarf and wraps it around my foot to stop the bleeding. Come, we have to go, she says sympathetically. He's gone! Leave him behind. We have to go. I stand up and limp around for a few minutes looking for the Yuan, but he is nowhere to be seen. They walk ahead of me as I hobble slowly behind them. Along the way, we do not talk about it, and they do not ask me about the man's penis. I wonder if Ju will tell Kim, or if Pithy will tell her family. For me, the humiliation is too much, the terror too real to relive by bringing it up. I am determined to keep my secret until the day I die. Once we reach our meeting place, Pithy leaves and goes her separate way. Ju and I continue on in silence. You were gone all morning, and these small piles are all you have brought? The mother hollers at us when we get home. Ju and I nod. And what happened to you? She asks, noticing my foot. I stepped on a piece of broken glass, I tell her. Careless, lazy girl. You are so stupid you will amount to nothing. No, you're wrong. I'm going to be somebody great, I mutter to her. What? Are you talking back to me? She walks up to me and pushes my forehead with her index finger, spits at my feet. You will never be great. What makes you think you will be great? You are nothing. You are an orphan. You will only be somebody if you become a hooker. Her words ring in my ears as hate pulses through my body. I will not become a hooker, I reply indignantly, turning my back to her and hobbling away. Later, crouching near a bush, hugging my knees to my chest, the mother's words echo in my mind, and despair creeps into my heart. She is right. I am an orphan with no future. What will happen to me? Then, as I sit in the woods, in the corner of the world, hiding from the war I know little about, I hear Pa's voice. No one knows how precious you are. You are a diamond in the rough, and with a little polishing, you will shine. Pa whispers softly. His gentle words bring a small smile to my lips. The mother may not give me the love I crave, but I know what it feels like to be loved. Pa loved me and believed in me. With a little reminder from him, I know the foster mother is wrong about me. I do possess the one thing I need to make something of myself one day. I have everything my pa gave me.